The sound of metal splashing into water cut through the night like a blade. I watched in disbelief as my car keys vanished beneath the dark rippling surface of the river. My wife, Emily, stood at the edge, arms crossed, her lips curved into a smile that looked more like mockery than mischief. "Now you're stuck with me," she said, her voice sharp, almost gleeful. I stared at her, my chest tightening, struggling to process what had just happened. We'd been fighting, again, but this felt different. Something in her tone, in the way her laughter lingered, made my stomach twist. It wasn't the laugh of someone joking, or even of someone angry. It was the laugh of someone who had already chosen a side. And it wasn't mine. At first, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. We had been under pressure, dealing with bills, with long hours at work, with the 1,000 tiny stresses that come with marriage. Maybe she snapped. Maybe I snapped. Everyone has their breaking points. But as we drove home, me behind the wheel of her car, since my keys were gone, I couldn't shake the image of her smirk when the keys sank into the current. That night, lying in bed beside her, I listened to her breathing. It was steady even. Too calm, as if the fight had never happened. My mind replayed every word she had thrown at me earlier. The way she said, "You'll never leave me. You wouldn't even know how." At the time, I thought it was just cruel banter. Now it sounded like a confession. The first real crack appeared a week later. I was looking for my phone charger when I found hers buzzing under a pile of laundry. A name lit up the screen: Mark. I didn't know a Mark. Not from her work, not from her family, not from anywhere she had mentioned. She walked in just as I picked it up. "Don't touch my phone," she snapped, snatching it from my hand. I thought it was mine. I lied quickly, though we both knew it wasn't. Her eyes burned into mine, but she said nothing else. Instead, she stuffed the phone in her pocket and left the room. For the rest of the evening, she avoided me, her tone clipped, her laughter forced. And when she finally went to bed, she turned her back to me, curling herself into a ball like she was protecting something. The doubts began to consume me. I told myself I was overreacting, that a name on a phone didn't mean betrayal. But then there were the late nights. The work meetings that didn't make sense. The way she guarded her phone as though it contained her entire soul. One night, when she said she was going out for groceries, I followed her. My heart pounded as I trailed her car through the dimly lit streets. She didn't go to the store. She parked outside a coffee shop. And there he was. A man I had never seen before, leaning across the table to whisper something that made her laugh. Really laugh, the way she hadn't laughed with me in months. I sat in my car, watching the two of them. Her smile, her animated gestures, the way she touched his hand lightly as if it was the most natural thing in the world. It felt like someone had reached into my chest and crushed my heart with their fist. When she came home that night, I waited in the kitchen. "How were the groceries?" I asked. My voice was calm, too calm. She froze for just a fraction of a second before replying. "They were out of what I needed. I'll try again tomorrow." I nodded, pretending to believe her. But inside something broke. The trust one had built my life on had been hollowed out, leaving only anger and sorrow in its place. Days turned into weeks, and I became a stranger in my own marriage. Every laugh she gave me felt rehearsed. Every kiss tasted like guilt. And every time her phone buzzed, I felt a wave of nausea. Finally, I confronted her. "Who is Mark?" I asked one night, my voice trembling despite my effort to stay firm. Her fork clattered against the plate. For a moment she said nothing. Then she forced a smile. "Just a coworker." "Why? You don't laugh like that with coworkers," I said quietly. Her eyes flickered. Fear, anger, something I couldn't quite place. "You're paranoid," she snapped. "You're imagining things because you don't trust me." But that was the problem. I wanted to trust her. I had trusted her with everything. And now I couldn't even trust the sound of her laughter. The breaking point came on a rainy evening. She came home late, her clothes slightly damp, her hair tousled. She looked startled to see me waiting in the living room. "Where were you?" I asked. "Work," she replied too quickly. "Work doesn't leave lipstick on your collar," I said, my voice flat. Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth to speak, then closed it again. For the first time, she had no defense, no clever lie, no cruel laugh. Just silence. And in that silence, I had my answer. I wish I could say I shouted, or that I threw something, or that I walked out without a word. But I didn't. I just sat there, staring at the woman I thought I knew, realizing she had become a stranger. My hands shook, my chest ached, and my throat felt tight, but no words came. Only tears. She finally whispered, "I didn't mean for it to happen." But the truth was she had meant for it. Every late night, every lie, every secret smile. It had all been deliberate choices. Choices that carved me out of her life while she built something new with someone else. That night, I packed a bag. She watched me, silent, tears in her eyes, but she didn't stop me. She didn't fight for me. And that hurt more than the betrayal itself. As I walked out the door, I thought about the river. About the night she threw my keys into the water and laughed. Back then, I thought she was trying to trap me with her. Now I realized the truth. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was daring me to see how little she cared if I stayed. I stood outside in the rain, breathing in the cold night air. And for the first time in months, I felt free. Her laughter still echoed in my memory, cruel and mocking, but it no longer bound me. I wasn't stuck. Not anymore. And as I walked away, suitcase in hand, I understood something I should have known long ago. Love can survive mistakes, but it cannot survive betrayal. Not hers. Not mine. Not ours.